Praise from God our Father and from Jesus Christ our Lord be with you all. Also with you. The readings that we have today have to do with temptations or being tested. And then particularly in the story, the first and the third story, the Genesis story, but also the Gospel story, is about encountering the devil. Now, when we talk about the devil, we might begin to think about demons and demon possessions and that half human, half animal creatures with horns and also some of those horrible stories that, like the exorcism and stump exorcism, those kinds of stories that are just so creepy that we don't want to talk about so that we don't want to lose sleep tonight. But encountering with the devil is much more than that. The word devil comes from the word, Greek word, diabolos. And then it's also related to the Hebrew word Satan, Satan. Now, the word devil, and we think we know the devils, right? Do we? Well, maybe we do. We don't want to talk about it. But the devils, what is important about that is not so much what the devil looks like or when does the devil come to us or how does it relate to those demonic stories and so on and so forth. What is important is to look at what the devil does to us. The word devil, in Greek, means slanderer or accuser. Same thing with the Hebrew word Satan. And we might remember in the book of Job, the devil or Satan was the one, is not something demonic, but is actually a heavenly creature who accused us in front of, who accused Job in the presence of God. And I love the word, the Greek word devil. Well, I don't love the devil, but I love the word, the meaning of it. The word diabolos is actually related to an English word that we know very well. Diabolic. You know that word, right? And diabolos, in its Greek origin, is made up of two parts. The first part is dia, means through. The second part is balo, means throw. Can you see that picture? Somebody is throwing something through us, kind of knock us off our footing, so that we are distracted, so that we are knocked off our ground, so that we would swear off from our original course. That is what we're talking about when we talk about the devil. It's not just some creepy being, although it could be, but many forces in life that throw us off and have things thrown at us, across us, so that we could not stand straight anymore. And some of the things that the devil uses, or the demonic forces, or the diabolic forces uses to shake us off our ground, has to do with privilege. Privilege. I want to have a little confession this morning about my own infatuation with privilege. Well, I'm not a man of privilege. I hope you can see that. I don't have a lot of privilege, but, in my work, some of you know, working for disaster response, and by the way, please donate to the North Illinois Synods Fund. This is a product placement thing in this sermon. But anyway, I do have to travel, and the last few years, we usually travel united. Again, this is not commercial, just stating the fact here. And I have the least privilege, the lowest level of privilege. Well, there's really not much to it. The main thing is, on the day of flying, I would, sometimes if I'm lucky, get to the economy plus. And what that really means, I have 1 more inch for me, for my knees. I'm a short guy. Why do I need another inch, right? So another thing is, you check in, the luggage is free. Now, this tiny little privilege actually kind of is something that I kind of sometimes want to feel good about. There's nothing to it, really. However, last December, it's the first time in 2 or 3 years, I could not meet the requirements to have that little privilege. So I only need 3 trips, not 3 trips, actually 3 segments. So I was talking to my wife, maybe I should buy a ticket you just fly to Minneapolis and maybe stop by Indianapolis or somewhere or stop by Midway, from here to O'Hare to Midway and then Minneapolis. Then I got 3 trips. Well, my wife said I'm crazy. Of course I was. In January, the first part of January, the last part of January, as some of you may know, I took a long trip, work-related trip to Asia, and it just so happens my privilege expired on January 31st. So the great thing is, on the way to Asia, I was privileged. On the way back, I lost my privilege. So on the way to Asia, because of my quote-unquote privilege, I get to sit in the economy plus seat, and I have to confess, I sometimes, long flight like this, I want to have a drink so that I can sleep well and all that. That's an excuse anyway. But anyway, so when I first sat down, the flight attendant thought I was, the one with the highest privilege. I was stupid. I just told her, no, I'm just a little silver guy, But one thing I noticed was when I told her, before I told her what class I was, she gave me the best stuff, whatever I ordered. Once I gave her the truth, I got the generic stuff. So a few 10 days later, when I came home, I lost my privilege. And I remember I was in Hong Kong. I kind of backed the counter person and said, I just lost my privilege 10 days ago. Just one off thing. Can you get me off to the economy class? And well, she just said, Mr. Chiu, no. That was, I thought about it. I was not mad at anything. I know what the result would be. But as I was reflecting on that, what is privilege? The vanity of privilege like that. I was the same person 10 days ago, and now 10 days later, anything changed? But because that's something called privilege, the vanity called privilege, and something that I really don't need, somehow I was treated differently. But because of that, I had to beg my wife and try to make that stupid trip from O'Hare to Midway to Indianapolis, whatever. So privilege is something very, 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 very addicted to all our lives. The reason I say that is this is really the introduction to the story we want to get at Jesus' temptation or Jesus' test. To understand Jesus' temptations, we really need to know about the privilege that Jesus just received before the temptation. Anybody remember what happened to Jesus before the temptation? Before he was fasting for 40 days and in the wilderness for 40 days? What happened to Jesus? Huh? He was baptized. And what happened during the baptism? Well, during our baptism, usually it's pretty uneventful, and we don't hear any special sound effect and stuff like that. But in Jesus' baptism, there's great sound effect. There's voice from heaven that says, "This is my Son, my beloved, with whom I am well pleased." Some of us here last week, and we talked about that, in the Roman Empire, in Jesus' time, the 400-some years during the time of Roman empires, only one person could be called the Son of God. Anyone make that claim could be subject to death. And that person was Caesar, the Emperor of Rome. But during that baptism, Jesus get a sense of calling. And not just the calling of being a pastor, being a religious leader, but being the Son of God. And with that, you could imagine, it comes with all kinds of privilege. I know a little bit about airlines privilege. I don't know what it's like to be the Son of God, the kind of privilege. But I would imagine, having just watched what's happening this last election season, the way a new president feels the moment after the inauguration. I would never experience that, for sure. Guarantee that. But you can imagine, just like any new president, whoever that might be, the moment after the swearing in and whatever, and the singing and whatnot, our country would still have a key, walking away, knowing that a lot of power has been given to him. And that was Jesus on that day when he was tempted. Now the story was very, very familiar to many of us, and some of us for sure. But let's just walk through that anyway. The first thing I want to talk about is the three no's. The three no's that Jesus said to the devil. Well, the first one, we know that, right? Jesus was starving to death. He was famished for 40 days, and so I think the devil was saying something like, well, Jesus, you are the Son of God. You have that little magical power, and you know the next 7-Eleven is about 5, 6, 10 miles away. You ain't gonna get nothing here, man. So why don't you use a little magic? Nobody knows. I won't tell anybody. Just you gotta see some stones, and it looked like loaves of bread, right? Just changed it into bread. I like sourdough. I don't think Jesus was that choosy at that moment in time. So it's just some little bit of convenience, right? For a leader, use a little bit of privilege to make your life a little simpler. And why not? And Jesus' word was, no. And then, of course, we know Jesus said more too. It does says it was written, humans are not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Well, that's the extra stuff for now. Let's put it aside. So what about a second temptation? The second thing. So the devil took Jesus to the holy city, up to the pinnacle of the temple. And there, the devil says, well, Son of God, you are the Son of God, and you know that God's going to protect you. You have that insurance policy written onto you, into your birth. You got it. Just use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So why don't you jump down? Well, the word, according to here in Greek, is just throw yourself down from the pinnacle of the temple, and I'm sure angels will be protecting you. Again, utilizing one's privilege and pushing it and see what happens. Is it something familiar to us? Have we seen ourselves or seen people around us do that sometimes? And then Jesus' answer is again, no. And then the third thing, the devil take Jesus to the highest mountain and show him, and say, look, you see the world under you, everything, even the Roman Empire, everything. If you just fall down and worship me, everything belongs to you. I know you have an ego. We all have egos, and Jesus' way to satisfy your ego is to fall down and worship me, and the kingdom and everything belongs to you. Why don't you just do that? Nobody knows. And then the answer is again, now these three things may be a little bit harmless and whatnot, but sometimes using whatever privilege we have, even in situations that might call for using them for good reasons, could cause a lot of harm. When I was growing up, I loved to read Reader's Digest. Still around Reader's Digest? Yes. I haven't read it in a long time, I used to love the stories. I just love stories. And one story that I have read and always remember and have used for sermon many times too is a story. Then in the Midwest, in the middle of the storm, this man and his family was in his house, and sadly, his daughter was dying. And he called the doctor. The doctor he did not know, a new doctor who just moved to town, and the doctor would come and treat his daughter. And as he called, and what was told, the doctor's family told him that the doctor has left. So this man was so anxious because his daughter was not getting any better. So he jumped to his car and tried to drive to the doctor's home and see if he could run into the doctor. And he could take the doctor with him to treat his daughter. And as he was driving, there were storms, and then, well, as we know in the Midwest, his car sort of rode off and hit the ditch and was off course into the roads. So he was desperate. So he walked up to the highway and tried to wave people, and nobody stopped. And then finally he walked towards a stop sign, and then yes, a car stopped. When he saw the car, he wasn't even thinking. He just went over to the car and he opened the door, the driver's seat, and yelled at the driver. He said, "Get out, get out! I need your car." And so he dragged the man out of the car and took the car and started driving and drove to the doctor's house. Of course, the doctor was not there, and drive his way back to his house. And sadly, when he reached home, his daughter has passed away. That very moment, the doorbell rang. Somebody opened the door. It was the doctor, but also the driver, whose car this man took at the stop sign. We may not think that we have privilege, but when we use some of those privileges, whatever power we have, even in situations that call for emergency actions, when we don't adhere to good principles, we can get hurt. Other people could get hurt. This is a story that's always ingrained in my head. Thank God. Thank God. The one who has said no to those 3 temptations have also said yes to many, many temptations that ask him to use those 3 privileges. Jesus, the one who refused to turn the stones into bread, just almost right after the temptations, went to a meet big crowd and turned 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish into food for how many people? 5,000. He understands. Jesus understands in his faithfulness the gifts that he has received from God is not for his own self-convenience. It's for the needs of humanity. And then, of course, he has the privilege, he has the power to do a lot of things. He has that insurance, if you will, and he knows that God will protect him. But 7 weeks later, when we are here commemorating Good Friday, do we read about Jesus trying to escape? Do we read about Jesus trying to use his connections, all the goodwill throughout the country to help him to go to a different country? Or do we read about Jesus trying to organize his nonviolent team and disciples into an armed militants and buying weapons to at least have a good fight with the Roman soldiers so that he could get away? No. He was faithful unto death, believing that not even in life, but in death, God will vindicate him. And indeed God did at Easter. And then of course comes to the kingdom. The kingdom that the devil showed him. The kingdom with all the glory, all the splendor. He could. He's a smart man. He could just say, devil, hey, nobody sees it. Let me just, maybe just a nod to you, and at least you give me a big chunk. Maybe not the whole thing. But along the way, in his ministry, what Jesus is, the ones who belong to the kingdoms are something we talked about last week in chapter 5 of Matthew, the poor in spirit, the hungry, those who are thirsty, those who are needing justice. These are the ones belonging to the kingdom, and not me, the one who have the privilege. Thank God for Jesus Christ our Lord. We have hope. So when we, in our life journey, facing a lot of temptations, a lot of tests in our lives, with our health, with our families, with relationships, with money, with job, and yes, also with churches we belong to, with our country, we know that the Lord, who is our Lord, our God, will not just desert us for his or her own safety, but God will always be there with us, and with each one of us, and with us collectively. In times like that, Jesus' words that we do not live by bread alone, but by every word from the mouth of God could be helpful. But there's a problem for me. I don't know every word that God says. The book is too thick. But as I looked at this text, I remember a story that I was told. A theologian by the name Karl Barth, a 20th century German theologian by the name Karl Barth. Karl Barth is an extremely prolific, very important Christian thinker in the Christian arena in the 20th century. Well, he's German. And you know German do not just write lots, right? Or tweet. Germans write encyclopedias. So he had volumes and volumes of Christian dogmatics and Christian books and whatnot. And so I was told that at the end of his life, somebody talked to him and said, hey, Dr. Barth, you have written so much. If you want to summarize everything that you have written, maybe in a tweet or something, what would you say? Well, what he said was, Jesus loves me. This I know. So sisters and brothers, we will all have challenges in life. Even now as we're sitting here, I don't know what you're thinking, but I know some of us are struggling with a lot. Test is everywhere. The demonic force to throw us across and knock us off our good standing is everywhere. The good news is Jesus Christ our Lord will always be there leading for me, leading for us. The one who has said no's and yes to God's eternal power to him is with us. And if all things fail, please remember something that we have learned since we are a kid. That is, Jesus loves me. This I know. As we prepare to the next segment of the worship service, let us sing that song.